Labour Shadow Minister for Employment and Social Security, Alison McGovern. Good to have you on the programme today. Keir Starmer and Banbury, that's been Conservative for 100 years. I mean, are you that confident you're going to win them?
Well, I think that everybody in every part of the country should have should be able to be voting Labour, and we want to win people's votes right across the country. I think it's fair to say we've got a huge number of activists working hard for people to vote Labour in places that might be surprising, perhaps, but we want everybody right across the country to give us that strong mandate and to really demonstrate that the country is at the crossroads. We can either continue down this path with the rotten Tory government that we've had for 14 years, or we can really change, and we can choose that change and put our country on a different path. So we want everywhere, wherever people are in the country, we want them to be voting Labour to bring about that change.
OK, well, that's clearly the message that you want to kind of get across. You're currently a Shadow Minister. Are you hoping to become an actual minister by the end of the week? Have you had any conversations with Keir Starmer or the team around him about whether the current Shadow Cabinet will continue in your roles?
The conversations I have had with Keir Starmer are about how we are fighting for every vote. And despite the conversation you were just having about postal votes, some people have voted by post, but very many people have not yet voted, and there are still a great number of undecided voters out there. So the conversations I've had with Keir, with Rachel, and with our whole shadow team have been about how we make the case for the kind of change that we want to see in our country.
Okay, that's the party line. I get it. That's a party line.
Any job to have a new government, Sophie. Any job. I think anybody speculating, needs to get on doorsteps and.
No, I know that's a line. You're focusing on that. I totally get it. The reason that if I can get a word in, that'd be really great. Thank you so much. The reason that I am kind of asking this is because there has been murmurings in our political team, speaking to those of your colleagues who are saying that there is, I guess, an expectation that Keir Starmer, if he gets elected, if he wins, would carry across the same shadow ministerial team. Is that wrong?
Well, no, I think, to answer the point as you've put it to me, I think, we worked very hard to come up with plans that we think, both in the first steps, can make an immediate difference to the country, and looking at the longer term missions can, over time, really change the structure of our economy, on our journey to net zero, and give people better chances and a better quality of life in this country over the long term. So those of us who've been in, roles for some time have worked hard on those policies. So it wouldn't surprise me, Keir's, I would say, very steady Eddie as a leader. He's good to work with because, he doesn't react overly. And I think he's somebody who's quite consistent. So that doesn't surprise me. Obviously, your political team are probably better connected than I am if they know what's going to happen. But I honestly must say to you that the conversations that we've been having across, the whole of the Labour Party right now are about our target seats. They're about making sure that we've got the good arguments on doorsteps to talk to people who still haven't made their mind up about the choice ahead of us. This is our chance now to get the change that we need, and that is where our focus is.
Many of those people will be voting for Labour because they want what they see to be a fairer society, a society that helps those who are vulnerable, struggling through no fault of their own. And I'm keen to kind of talk to you about this because of your sort of brief as well. We're heading into the worst child poverty figures in living memory. I'm going to quote somebody on this who I think might be more powerful than myself, Gordon Brown. He told me recently 3 million children will be missing meals at some point during the course of this month. 1 million children last night and tonight sleeping without a bed of their own. This is a level of destitution for some families that we haven't seen for many, many years. He says we need to rethink the two-child limit on benefits. He thinks that is not the only factor, but one of the factors contributing to this level of child poverty. Are you personally comfortable with the decision by Labour to keep that limit if you get in power?
So that is not, it wasn't our policy. We didn't vote for it. I know the damage that 14 years of Tory government has done to children and the way that many children are growing up. The reason for our position on the two-child policy is that we have to get economic stability first. We have to make sure that we can grow the economy and take our economy out of the political instability that we have had.
Comfortable with it?
I will never be comfortable whilst there are children in this country that are growing up in poverty, and certainly not whilst there are children in this country that are growing up in destitution. You know, it's not just poverty now. It's experiencing a childhood where the basic necessities of life are completely uncertain. So I don't think anybody should be comfortable with that. The question is, what do you do about it? Our plan is, first, we have economic and political stability so that our economy can grow. If I was a minister tomorrow, if, you know, we are lucky enough to be asked to form a government, the thing that I would want to do is to reform universal credit, because we were told that it would help families to thrive. We were told universal credit will help make work pay and will prevent poverty, and it quite evidently hasn't done that. So we need to review it and have, as Labour's policy is, a cross-government strategy to end and to tackle child poverty. In our first steps, there are things that we can do immediately to help.
Okay.
And I know that our policy to have breakfast schools in primary schools will be an immediate help to parents. But
Okay.
my
We
goodness,
are out of
Gordon
time.
is right. We will need to do much more.
Thank you very much indeed. We are out of time on the interview, but good to speak to you today on the Politics Hub.